Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. I'm picking up both of you. I'm gonna turn you up slightly. Estian, can you speak again?
How does it sound?
Too loud. Turn you back down. Speak again.
How about now?
Perfect. Chris, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, okay.
It's good to finally have electricity and actual good Wi-Fi connection, so I can take part in these podcasts.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Ish
we
load shedding.
definitely missed you last time, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yo, I
did.
missed you guys. There was some fire being spoken about last time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. No, you mean our last time it was us three or the yes, it was the last time we were us three.
It was Keelan as well was included on that one.
Yeah. Keelan was
Um,
that was fun. We
we still using our streamer names, or what do you call it?
Our
yeah,
creator names, dude. Yeah,
yeah.
Meltmore.
I
Creator names.
yeah, I'm Dreamer J.
I'm Amino. Good to be on the
Amino.
That
podcast with you
There
guys.
we
fuck
go.
yeah, dude. I like the name. I like the name.
Yeah, dude. Like creator names, dude. It's something that you can basically pick for yourself, and then you can distance yourself from whatever it is you're doing with your creative name. You don't have to take personal flack for it, if you can say it that way,
Yeah, I was
because it's external.
Uh, it's really interesting because you kind of people concentrate more on the content you have rather than your personal life, which I do agree with. It's more important that way. Um,
yeah, I was sitting contemplating if I should switch over to using my channels this YouTube for all my normal watching, because then it would show up in like the history and you'd be able to see it in the what do you call it, in the liked videos and everything. But then I thought I don't think that's that important. It's important about the content you put out, and if your content is connecting with people, then fair enough. But it's a good idea to keep some personal things and some creative and uh, career driven things.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's also something's fun.
so Johan,
Like
Mm?
you
Somebody,
and I spoke about the stuff you wanted to talk about today in terms of, well, the first topic was what was happening with WhatsApp and its privacy policy. And the second one we can talk about later, but
yeah,
let's tackle that one for now. Uh,
yeah,
I will come out straight and say that I'm not too bothered. I know it's a mixed opinion thing. I know people will probably disagree with me, but I thought about it extensively, really extensively, and I thought, what the fuck do I have to hide? What am I afraid of hiding? Sure, they might use
homie,
my data
yeah,
for
it's
some
not
weird fucking
about
reason, for some weird
hiding
shit.
anything, dude. It's advertising. That's the problem, because basically what you're subscribing to is them reading your messages and then targeting ads based on the things that you say, and that shit is the problem.
I thought about that too, homie, but at the end of the day, I don't see how we escape advertisement anyway. It's there all the time.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
not.
dude,
It's
it
the.
is.
For me, it's a thing. It's a weird place I'm in currently. Because yes, it won't really affect us that much. To be honest, it's not gonna change WhatsApp too much. But I'm worried about the principle that we're all getting okay with just our
Yeah,
information being
there,
harvested.
there, there. I fully agree with you. When it comes down to morality, when it comes down to the principle, as you said, that is completely correct. I cannot disagree with you. It's not right. I don't think it's right. I think it's full of shit. On the other hand, I really like WhatsApp. It's fucking convenient. It works nice.
Mm.
It has all of my contacts. It's so fucking such a schlep to go and convert to another now.
I mean, but you
Uh,
just used the wrong word, dude. Convenience is the killer, bro. Like we shouldn't become too convenient with things, dude. Because like when we rely on something that harvests our information literally, and they blatantly tell you that that's what they're gonna start doing, I've already started seeing it, dude. Someone contacted me about teaching online and teaching in China, and all I did was in my WhatsApp
Whoa.
send them a message saying that you have to get a TEFL like certification. Literally the next day, I have TEFL courses recommended to me on my Facebook page, dude.
Yeah.
So like it's stuff like that, dude. It's not about the advertising as much. Like advertise to me all you want. I'm not going to buy anything that you want or want to sell
Another
me.
thing,
But
another
when
thing I
they're
found
trying to sell you
very,
stuff that you're talking about, dude, that's when it becomes a little bit privacy invasive.
it becomes scary. It becomes really scary. Like I remember one day I was browsing through Take a Lot, right? I was looking for like solar powered flashlights and shit like that, or like some clothes that I could buy. Next thing I know, Facebook is advertising solar powered flashlights and clothing fashion, and I was like, how are the two connected? How are they capturing this stuff? I wasn't on Facebook looking for clothes or anything like that. I was on Take a Lot.
Do you know what's an
Why?
even almost scarier thing? I've had it happen where me and my mom were talking about what's the property management? What do you call the biggest one? Um, I can't remember.
Property 24.
No, no, no. It's not an internet company. It's the actual like a firm where you buy houses from, and man, now I can't remember. This story doesn't work without me remembering what it was. Pengold. What's it? I'm gonna cut all this out. So what's it called? I'm gonna
Remax,
no. I'm gonna find it quick. M.
Seif,
No, it starts
Jet
with a P.
Property,
It starts with a P. Uh,
Reality,
damn,
Tyson Properties.
damn. How can I not remember this? Uh,
It's
State
all the ganja you've been
agency.
smoking.
Yeah, I know it is. State agent. Pam Golding. There's the word. Okay, thank you. So
Found it.
Wow.
yes, Pam Golding. I knew it was started with a P. So me and my mom were talking about real estate and everything, and I mentioned Pam Golding. I get off the phone and I walk to my computer and I sit down and I refresh Google and a Pam Golding ad pops up. I don't look at property in my spare time. What the? Huh?
You
So,
want to buy some property, oh?
so
You 19-year-old?
Yeah.
Buy
yeah,
Looking
property,
looking
dude.
for some property.
it's so.
Here's the truth. Here's the truth behind it. The truth is, what they're trying to do is make things more convenient for you. Now that can be seen as a good thing, as something that they're trying to make more available and accessible, and they're trying to make life more um, easy for you in terms of things to find. Now that really does appeal a lot to the masses, especially those that don't know how to use the internet. The problem with that is they're assuming what is good for you,
Yeah,
um, and that very often can be catastrophic at times. Um,
yeah. Like I said, it's that principle of us getting
the
okay with.
second, the second, the second other, the second other human beings assume what's good for different human beings, we're going in a very bad route.
Yeah. Well, It's an author that becomes authoritative. Like it becomes the highest and most powerful people make all the decisions, which isn't how it should be. Everybody
Yeah,
should have the right to privacy.
it automatically means that other people think they know what's better for you than you do, um, which is never the case. Never.
Yeah, maybe I'm not gonna say never because there are one or two situations where I would agree that maybe somebody else picking the way for you, like in heavy abuse of alcohol or porn or whatever, maybe having a guiding hand. But in everyday life, no, no, I don't think that's right. Nobody should be allowed to
Yeah,
tell me
but
I
that
can't do
I
this.
still maintain that that has to come down to your choice. You
Fair
can't
enough.
have other people pushing that onto you. You have to choose that.
Yeah, and you won't choose it if it isn't something you want to do. Hmm. No, it's
So
interesting.
yes, I agree. I agree with. I firmly believe. Same thing with Google. I firmly believe they are trying to appeal to the masses, and they are trying to do a good thing. But again, the road to hell is always paved with good intentions.
No,
And
it's been shown over and over and over that that is just the case. It always happens like that. The worst situations always arise from people trying to do the best they can.
you can't blame them, especially millionaires, billionaires that think themselves so. It's almost inevitable. If you're a billionaire, you will almost naturally think yourself above everyone else. Hell, some people don't even need the money to think
Yeah.
themselves above everyone else.
Yeah, it's a there's I'm not gonna go into a whole situation that's currently happening in some of the YouTubers that I watch, but it's insane how bad power corrupts. And having $1 billion is a lot of power. Being able to be like, yo, listen, I need this thing done. Here's $100 million, and it dents your entire revenue by 10%, and in 2 years you've made it back. That is scary power. And so I think it's hard for people who have that much money to try and remain down to earth. So I think a lot of the people that are capable
It's
of that,
almost look. It's almost impossible. I'll tell you that. If you were given $1 billion today, or if I was given $1 billion today, or if Estian was given $1 billion today, our our perspectives, our beliefs, our intentions, our goals, all of that would change
yeah,
like this.
yeah.
You are wrong, dude.
Am I wrong? Okay.
Yes, bro. Because I'm gonna earn $1 billion, and I'm still gonna be the same me, dude. Mark my words, man. Like
Yeah,
you're always
I'm
always
gonna
trying to
say
throw general blankets over people, dude. Like,
that's not
uh,
true. That's not
uh,
true at all. Look, let me tell you something that my great granddad told uh my mom, or my grandma that told my mom that told me. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because you will get it.
homie, I'm not being reckless with what I wish for, dude. You should know that more than anybody else.
I
Homie, you say these things with such certainty, with such with such absolute belief, and I respect that of you. But these are things you have not lived through. These are things you cannot possibly predict.
Homie, with that mindset, you never will, dude. Unfortunately.
You can get into a car and fully believe you're going to drive it perfectly well, and you get onto the road and you're so confident, and you're fully convinced that you can drive it from the start as a race car driver. How often does that work?
I don't know.
Homie, the difference is that if I go and I learn how to be a race car driver and I put in the time, then I will be able to drive a car like a race car driver because I
So
put
you've
in the
so
time.
you've so you've learned to be a billionaire.
Homie, I'm actively learning how to be a billionaire. How do you think billionaires became billionaires? Huh? You think they were born billionaires? No.
it takes a
No,
lot of
I
work.
also I also believe they weren't. I also believe they weren't the same people. You think Elon Musk was the same person before he became a billionaire?
I think so,
Homie, do
but
you
I
think
think
you're
he
the
might
same
have gotten a
person than
bit
you
more.
were yesterday, dude? Or do you think you're the same person than you were 10 years ago? So, did you have $1 billion? Why did you change?
See,
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
fucking slam
I
your
think it is
ass, dude. We're constantly changing, bro, but we get to choose how we change. And we can change for the best.
it's how you approach the money you have. That's the biggest one. That power is hard not to get corrupted by, but it depends where you started in life. I've been reading with the Jordan Peterson's book, and he's going at the moment. He's like really deep delving the psyche of people, and
You
it's
read 12 Rules of Chaos?
yeah, and 12 Rules of Life
Of
by
Life, yeah.
Jordan Peterson.
Avoiding chaos, yeah. It's a good
So
book.
what he does is what he's currently talking about is how hard it is for corruption not to take root, and it has to do very much with how people are raised, which is a huge portion of it. It depends on how and what you get taught. So even if you don't have $1 billion at the moment, yes, you're gonna when you get $1 billion, you're gonna hit your head against the wall once or twice maybe, but then you're gonna fall back on the stuff you've learned and try and be a better person. There's an old story or not, I don't know how old the story is now. The guy, he died. It was a billionaire that ended up dying at the age of 98 with $2 million in his bank account, and they estimated he made 59 billion. And he gave every single cent he ever made away to other people because it wasn't the person he wanted to be. Power, yes, it does corrupt, but it only corrupts the people who are corruptible. Everybody
Yeah.
is. Everybody is corruptible with enough given to them. But it's most people, and this comes down to something Jordan was actually saying. Is he said 99% of people who abuse their kids were, or what was it? Yeah, people who abuse their kids are still have a 90% chance not to abuse their kids, which means that overall people are more likely to change the way that previous generations or previous people handled certain things. I think our generation have a very unique idea where we can see what power does and what a billionaire has the capabilities of doing, and we have the capability to learn about it. And then because we've now seen the mistakes other people have made, we can learn to try and avoid them. But this is being said, I made a huge mistake today. We can talk about it later. Um, and I've heard about it many times, and I still hit my head against the wall. It You have to be willing to see the mistakes you make. So I think that $1 billion, yes, there are a lot of people it will corrupt, but that's not a necessity for everybody.
It never is. It never is a necessity. It never is something we strive for. It never is something we want. Of course, we don't want to be corrupted. Of course not. We want to be pure and we want to help people. And of course, with that we go in with the best intentions in mind and all of these things. But I can almost fully promise you, based on history, based on all of the history we've been presented with, those that became rich, even in the Bible, those that became rich, many, if not almost all of them, few rare cases didn't, but almost all of them turned into something very strange.
Yeah, it's hard to refute that statement because
Now,
it's true.
it's true, and it's throughout all of history, from the time we could record history. When you're exposed to astronomical levels of power, and then oftentimes in our day and age, that is measured through money. I mean, you can be a saint. Uh, I can I often think about this. If Jesus was presented with $1 billion, if some guy came up to him and said, "Here's $1 billion. I want you to have it because you're so awesome and you deserve it, and you can do whatever you want with it," even though he could take it and fix a lot of people's problems, I don't think he would.
I also don't think he would take it. Yeah, money's a weird question. Money brings so much power. Money money makes everything better, and it allows you to do a lot of the things you need to do and the things you want to do. It it's hard not to get wrapped up in money.
Nature nature does not work in money. humans work in money. Only humans. Only humans.
You know, they did a study actually where they taught monkeys, bonobos technically, how to use money, and they started trading the money for like for sex work, basically as the first profession.
That was the
So
first
Well,
profession.
that's probably was the first
yeah,
profession.
I'm dead serious. They
That
had
that that was the first profession. It was prostitution.
yep. It's pretty
Monkeys.
interesting.
That's insane, but that makes so much sense. It's such a primal urge.
But dudes, like the point that you should remember as well is that we're not taking anything past this life. Like I can't take my phone, can't take my computer,
And
can't
guess
take a cent of money.
sorry.
Like if I
Here,
die, I'm just gonna go to the like the beyond. Like our consciousness is
here's
going to
here,
accept nothingness as an experience.
here's a step back from what you just said. I just wanted to mention this as a bit of a comic relief. Guess what the big money people get?
The what?
Sorry?
The big money the big money the rich people get. Guess what they get?
Big money the
I don't
rich
know.
people get. I
They
don't
I
know.
guess they get a life where they can do whatever.
Pussy. Pussy.
If you're like that type of person, sure, dude. But no matter how much money I make, it's not going to change anything on that front, dude. Like it's not about that anymore. And like
It's not by choice. It happens automatically. It's like a
Mm,
gravitational field.
I don't think so.
homie, it's still
Because
your choice, dude.
I,
Every single thing that you do is your choice.
I promise you that you and I and Estian have enough money that if we wanted to, we could probably get an
Oh yeah,
escort quite often.
easy peasy,
It's
dude.
not that bad.
That's not what it's about.
It's it has to do with what that's it's the thing that
Really?
even the
Can you please share your contacts with me? Because I'm like desperate at this point. I'll buy an escort. I don't mind.
Oh, that's funny, Chris.
Are you serious though? Like I'm genuinely interested.
Of course I'm not. Of course I'm not serious. Of course I'm not serious. No, I'm not serious.
I had to think about it for a moment. No. But and what were we talking about? We were talking about uh too late. It's gone. I'm gonna continue. Uh, so
Next topic. We veered off quite far away from the
yeah,
privacy issues of WhatsApp.
but
The
but
next
that's
topic that you wanted to discuss was meditation,
meditation. No,
developing
habits.
habits.
There's the one. Wow, you remember well. No, so I don't think I don't remember who told you Estian. But I definitely didn't tell you Chris. So I went over to Keelan's house the other day, and we were sitting and chatting, and I was talking about how I wanted to try and get new habits in the day, and to do more things with my day. And I was struggling to form habits because trying to create something new and repetitively do it is quite taxing on your amount of willpower you have per day. So I asked him, and he came up with this idea that is apparently Francois's idea. But Francois told Keelan and Keelan told me. And so the idea is to do something called habit bunching. So, like, for what I've started doing now is I get up in the morning and I always make a cup of coffee. It's just how I wake up. I love a cup of coffee in the morning. And normally I would just sit, and my habit was to watch the series. So I started changing the habit, and I started grouping reading a book with my drinking coffee. So now every morning when I get up in the morning and I make my cup of coffee, my brain is automatically like, yeah, let's go read my book. And so I'll read like 20 or 30 pages. Afterwards, my normal routine was to go shower. So I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna shower. I'm gonna exercise before I go shower. Now in the mornings I exercise, do all my stretches before I take my shower, and I now take my shower, and then I grouped eating with my shower. So now I have like a morning routine of like 2 hours, and it cost me almost no willpower because I already had the habits ingrained in me. I just had to add one step. It was brilliant. It's made my mornings
That's
productive.
really interesting. I've never heard that one before. That's new.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Utilizing your patterns to create new ones.
Because my guess for it
linking
is,
linking your usual everyday habits with a healthy one.
mm,
That's very cool.
yeah, and it's something that I never realized, but it's like the whole thing we were discussing about how vision is taxing on the brain. Thinking and coming up with new ideas is taxing on the brain. Trying to keep yourself active and doing other things is quite taxing on the brain. That's why we like habits. Like I saw this video where there's a disease. I can't remember what it's called, but you basically lose the ability to make and form short-term memory. And this short-term memory is such an issue that people can't function day to day anymore because they can't remember what they need to do. But if they force them to learn and make it a habit, they can actually continue living a perfectly normal life because they wake up in the morning and their brain goes, "Cool, I need a shower." It's not because he's thinking about it, it's just what his body is used to doing. And I think it's the patterns of making sure that we need to think less because it's taxing. So now we're like sick. We don't need to worry about the mornings anymore. We wake up, we have coffee, we drink a book, we read a book. We then exercise because we need. It's just now a pattern that's developed.
It's true, dude. Like it's something that I've implemented in my life as well. I've created so many new patterns. But yeah, waking up at 4:44, then like also making myself a coffee first thing. Then what I do is instead of like I read, but I read through audiobook, and then I
Mm.
just sit and look at the colors come up. And then after I finish my coffee, I I do like some exercise, and then after I've exercised, I can be a little bit of like a productive person afterwards. Feels good, man. Feels good to have a pattern.
Dude, it does. And I have recently come into the amazing opioids of exercising. It's actually insane how much what's the word? How much uh man. I looked over at Chris coming to sit down and my brain blanked. That was
I'm very sorry. I needed a bathroom break.
that was insane. What were we saying, Estian?
I totally spaced out as well, man.
Oh, that's hilarious. Man, our brains
The
are
last
so weird.
thing I heard was yes, our brains are indeed weird. Um, I sorry I had to run away. That was
Uh,
my bad.
don't worry about it.
Um,
We were saying about the patterns, and I agree. I agree. Every having patterns actually makes your day easier because there's less things to worry about. There's less anomalies, and it's a calmer, more ordered style. And then it's also nice. I don't have anything planned from like 11 to 5. Just because I still really like the spontaneity that it is in life. Like I don't want to be like, yo, okay, at 10:40 I need to go and do this. At 11 I need to do this. I have like a general guide, and then I want complete freedom for a bit, so that if somebody hits me up and be like, yo, do you want to go do something, or do you want to play this game, and I have rooms to change what I'm currently doing, and that fits really nice. And then I have my nighttime where I need to do streaming and recording and everything. But I like the open space as well.
I have to say it's from my own personal perspective lately. Uh, I try to not give my brain a chance to sit alone. For an extended period of time. I try to keep it active, and I try to keep it stimulated. I try to feed it new information, healthy information, good information. I try to continuously keep this positive, and Estian has helped with this a lot. I will not deny this at all. He's been constantly preaching about putting in good intentions, striving towards a healthier mindset
Mm,
every single second of your day. And I found this is something that is natural to me alone. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, if I sit on my own for a long period of time, my thoughts tend to backtrack a little bit and concentrate a lot on the bad things that have happened lately. And for me, it's been a personal journey and realizing that I have to. Yes, it's good to sit and to process. Yes, it's good to acknowledge the bad emotions, and it is a necessary thing that you need to do sometimes. But you also have to acknowledge the times when it's too much, when uh, when you're sitting alone too much, when you're thinking about the bad things too much, when you're not allowing yourself to move forward, when you're not giving yourself the strength to allow for a new development of behavior, where you're sticking to the same old routine because it's comfortable,
It is
because
really
it's something
comfortable.
you are very very comfortable in, and you know. um and the beauty of life, the real essence of life, this is something that Francois says as well. um Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
So change something, anything. It can be anything. You can change your showers from piping hot to lukewarm one day. You can change your coffee from caffeinated to decaf one day.
Mm.
You can decide that today I'm not going to make a salami sandwich, I'm going to make an avocado sandwich. And you keep these tiny little details, you keep changing them bit by bit, and you keep altering the pattern more and more. Um, to the point where it's like it almost becomes like
Chaos.
you don't know what's gonna come. You don't know what, yeah, chaos. You don't know what's gonna come next, and that in some ways that almost brings a lot more happiness to your day.
I agree.
Uh, it, it's strange in that sense, very very strange.
I like the idea in that you keep the parts of your day that can be unorderly, because it like that's a really good idea. What do you have for breakfast each day? Change it every day. You're gonna have breakfast every day, but every day that you make breakfast, try and have something new. When you make lunch, try and make something new that you've never had. If you're making dinner, try not ordering or not cooking the same meal you've cooked every day. Try baking rusks. I mean, maybe bake a cake one day for in the afternoon. That's why I like that like 6 hour period of where you don't have anything really planned, and whatever spontaneously you think of,
Even
you do.
even changing your route to work. Just one day you decide I'm gonna take this road instead of the other one. It's gonna lead you to the same destination, but the route you take that is altered, that gives you a different view for just one day, 2 days of the week, 3 days of the week, it has an astronomical impact. It's the strangest thing. It's such a small change, and yet it can flip your mind upside down. Suddenly you're like, wow, look at that tree I'd never seen before.
Mm,
Look at this new structure that wasn't here before. You
that
know?
that
And
dude, I really like adding spontaneity to things, especially when it comes to like something as monotonous as driving. Driving I find as being one of the most boring things on the planet. Yes, it's fun to drive a car, but like it's something that's always had this weird like stress on my life. Cuz when you get in a car and the car just end or you end up having to deal with everybody else on the road, it becomes an issue and you get frustrated and your day gets worse. But if you can change it and drive a little bit of a different route that isn't necessarily the biggest road you can find, just to spice it up a bit. Look at some trees as you're driving by. Look at the clouds through an opening you've never seen, or see a flower bed you've never seen before, and your day doesn't feel as bad anymore because now you've seen this like cool new thing that you've never had before.
Information and
a
perspectives are
change of
valuable, dude.
yeah, perspective is a great word. Perspective is an excellent word that you just said. Oftentimes we get lost our own in our own realities, and the problem is yours is not at all the only reality. Um, and you think things are the way they are, and then they're going to stay that way, when in true fact everything is in flux constantly, and what is staying constant is just you. And you have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge the fact that you need a bit of change. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is break out of, even if you're doing fine, even if you're doing perfectly well, if you're getting paid, you have a job, you have a car, you have a house, you have everything you need, you have food, clothes, all of these things, it can still bring you so much pain if it's just a repetitive thing and there is no change. I
That,
mean, when I was working in the IT company that I was working in, I was getting paid handsomely. I had everything I needed. I had the clothes, I had the friends, I had the comfortable life. But I was still in so much disarray and so much pain because it was just repetition, repetition, repetition of the same thing every day. I was getting money, I was taking the car down the same road, going to the same company, seeing the same people. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It was driving me mad. The one of the biggest things I took away from Far Cry 3, I know this is a crazy quote to make, but do you know the definition of
of
insanity?
insanity.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Expecting different results.
Mm.
Yep. But
It's
dude,
mind blowing how accurate that is.
like to counter quote, if you don't build your own dreams, you're gonna build someone else's, dude. And I think that's where the pain comes from. Because you know that you're not building on your dream. You know you're not working towards what you believe in because you're doing something, you're giving life energy to a company, to someone else's life aspirations. And of course, in our jobs, and this is something that me and you talked about, Christian, we can find satisfaction in helping people. And that can be a life purpose as well. But when you're not helping people actively, then or like helping yourself and fulfilling your life's goal and your soul's purpose, then you're gonna be in pain.
Oh,
You're supposed to be in pain.
oftentimes, oftentimes, mate, I find that it's a very, very difficult thing to tackle, especially if you're, say, a person from the townships that works as a maid. You are very limited in the things you can do before you starve to death. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Is that oftentimes you don't have the resources nor the opportunities. You have to work for someone else, almost like a slave, pretty much like a slave, just to make enough money to buy bread and butter so you can feed yourself to survive to the next day. It's easy to say that you have to follow your dreams and you have to achieve your goals and you have to make a difference in the community that will make you happy. A lot of people, probably most of the people, probably 80% of this planet, cannot. They cannot do that if they want to live to tomorrow. You have to understand it from their perspective as well, is that they cannot. They don't have a choice. And it's not that they don't even have a choice, they don't even know. They don't have the education available to them. They don't have the knowledge available to them.
It's
This
it's the
is everything they've seen. This is everything they know.
yeah, it's why in America you still have most of the people under the poverty line are still African Americans, even though it's been 300 years from slavery. Because to get from the very bottom, and even though this is a lot of other factors going into it, but that is a factor that it is very hard to get from the bottom to the top, because everybody at the top wants to stay at the top, and their kids
it's
want
it's
to stay at the
systematically
top.
it's systematically made that way.
Yeah,
They don't want you going to the top. They want to stay at the top.
yeah, it's the people
And
at
the
the
only
top.
way they stay at the top is if you stay at the bottom.
Yeah, that's why they say that the minimum wage or the like uh population should even out around 30 billion, because in eventually though there's going to be enough people to support enough jobs to where most people are kind of even, but there's still never going to be a majority of a populace where the entire thing gets dragged from the low class to the high class in this manner as time goes on. At least not in our society. I don't think it's possible. Maybe if we start robots and we really
Robots
start,
is the answer.
yeah, and we really lower our
Robots.
population.
Look, I hate to say it. I hate to say it because it's one of the worst things I can say. But we are just too stupid. As a majority, we are too stupid. As a combined consciousness, we are too dumb. And the only thing that can fix that is is new technology that can provide for those that are not educated enough to give them a chance to start educating themselves.
Yeah. It's a. I actually have a. I'm gonna bring up another point that I spoke to my mom about, but I'd love to hear your opinion on it. So, our it's never or utopias are a really hard thing to describe because there's always issues and faults that are going to arise from it because it's a utopia. It's almost impossible. But let's. I want to speculate something. I want to hear your both opinion on it. Let's say everybody in the world worked for free and everything else was available for free. And you had so if I let's say I walk into Woolworths, I can go pick up anything I want and I walk out. And when I get home, my job is to bring as much benefit as I can to other people. That is the job I have. And based off that, you start bringing society up. Because if I always work my hardest to benefit everybody around me and everybody else does the same, there is no need for currency. Because somewhere, some architect's gonna go, you know what I want to do? I want to build a yacht because he knows he can build something insane. But the yacht isn't necessarily for someone. If I want to go use that yacht, I can go ask the guy, see what if he'll lend it to me, and it's not a thing that's it should hard to describe. It's a thing where we end up at a point where nobody everybody works, but not out of the good that they need money to survive, out of the good and decency that they can to benefit humanity and benefit where we're going.
That is that is incredibly ideal.
It is
It's
ideal.
what we're it's what we're all it's the ideal outcome we're all striving for as a society. It's something that we all want. The problem is um achieving that, and this is something I've seen throughout human history as well. Every time we try to achieve the best optimum performance in terms of the culture and
Bless you.
Thank you. Whose phone is dying?
I do believe it's
that was me.
Sebastian's.
God, like somebody mowing a lawn outside.
Even though that is what we strive for, and this is something that we as humanity have strived for since the beginning of time. The truth is, every time we achieve exactly what we wanted, there have been other new problems that have been introduced.
Yeah, dude, that's the point. Because if the problems stop coming, the fun kind of stops as well, man.
Yeah, but imagine if you change the problems from being human and biological problems to exploration. The problem changes and you can shift in the way people think about life as because at this point in our civilization we have the capacity for nobody to need to actively not have food. There's enough growing space and enough things for most of the planet to have enough food if people weren't so
Yes.
greedy and we didn't just throw away like 80%.
Put your phone on
Yeah,
silent,
mute
dude.
it, put the
It
kill
is
it,
on silent.
put it,
It is on silent. It's vibrating.
turn the
I know it's
vibration off.
vibrating, dude. That's the point we're trying to make. Like that should also stop. To my ears, it sounds like I have like a jackhammer, like a mini
Dude.
jackhammer, like. grrr,
I'm
grrr.
sorry. I'm sorry. We're on a good track. Let's keep going with it.
So
My sister keeps calling. I keep declining. Okay, this is sacrifices I'm making.
just send her the video, it'll be fine, she'll understand.
She'll never forgive you, Christian.
Yeah, she might actually hate your guts.
The point is, homies. Whether we like it or not, we are always going to be presented with new problems. And there's nothing wrong with that. It keeps things interesting, just as Estienne said, because what's the point of actually achieving if there are no more tribulations beyond that point? 100%. I get that. The problem comes in how can I describe this?
The problem arises, and this is something that I do think would happen, especially in this utopia, is we'd have problems figuring out who's allowed to do what. That's one of the biggest problems I could think of, because it's probably gonna have to be based off education and your previous requisites and that, and it would have to.
The problem with humans is that we all want to be God. We all want to be the main hero. We all want to be the epitome main character. All of us do. Undeniable. Not a single one of us doesn't. I don't agree with anybody that's not even Buddha didn't want to be the main character. Everything he did was to put himself as the main character. Jesus, same thing. Everything he did was to put himself as the main character.
Are you sure it's them purposefully doing it?
It's inevitable. It's in human nature.
No, but what I mean is you get to that position by being unique.
Not just that, dude, but each and every one of us has the potential to be divine, to be Jesus, to be Buddha.
And be
we just
I
have
agree.
to be.
100%. 100%. I agree with that. And I think that's where we also fail. As that in order to become something like that, it's you mustn't want it. And that's almost impossible.
Homie, actually, I want to stop you right there, because the wanting thing is something that I've come to terms with. Desire is not a bad thing, dude. Because if it wasn't for desire, you wouldn't be here. Not just with your parents, but with all of creation. If God didn't desire to create life, you would not be. So there's nothing wrong in desire, dude. There's only something wrong in having skew desires, or desires for selfish reasons, or desires that are going to hurt humanity. If your desire is to eat ice cream and you want to eat ice cream, then indulge that desire, dude. If your desire is to change the world, then that is the desire that you're going to get, bro. Like, there's nothing wrong with desire at all, man. It's just about your intention.
That was the word I was looking for, because I was gonna say, but what about somebody that just overeats themselves because they're stressed? But that's exactly, it's the intention you have with that. If your desire is to enjoy the delicacy,
it comes back to the argument of that the road to hell is paved in good intentions. With good intentions. You want to do good. You want to fix people. You want to make a sunshine paradise, a utopia for everyone. Guess what? Everyone else is trying to do that as well.
Well, then that's the point,
that's
dude.
literally
That's the only
point.
way that we can actually make it happen, bro.
Everybody
I don't understand what your problem is with it.
Yeah, everybody
like,
should.
If all of us are working towards creating a utopia, obviously we're going to create a utopia.
The problem comes in that your utopia is not the same as that person's utopia, which is not the same as that person's utopia, which is not the same as that person's utopia.
I agree in like 80%, maybe 70% of what utopias are. Yes, we will differ, but that underlying core aspect of betterment of being, of one to getting to the point where nobody has to suffer, is almost universal in people who are aiming at utopias. That's literally a definition of a utopia is nobody suffers, nobody has any issues and people can live their ideal lives. Now the issue comes when resentment and
here's my counter argument. There is no real life. There is no real experience without trial and tribulation and pain. It's it's part of the equation. It's an inevitable part of the equation. Nothing that matters, nothing that ever made sense, nothing that ever made an impact was achieved without pain.
yeah, I know there's a couple
If
people.
if if it was so easy, if it was so easy and so achievable, so bloody um, meant to be, why did Jesus have to sit on the cross and bleed to death?
Because that's what he chose to do, bro, to save humanity from their sins.
I and it included pain.
Yeah, obvious.
It included an astronomical amount of suffering, being betrayed by the ones you trusted.
No,
And
I
it's a quote that I will always reference is one of the most it is one of the most beautiful stories, even though some people think of it as fiction. A lot of people, even I, think of it as fiction. It doesn't matter that it is fiction. It is still an imagination that is so damn powerful. Is the fact that this character said on the cross, bleeding to death, he said, "Forgive them, Lord, for they know not better."
yeah,
They know not better.
but that is humanity has always had that issue, Chris. It's something that we've literally always had. It's the reason that we end up at a point where Stalin and Hitler were allowed to be in offices as people of power. We somehow ended in a spot where two of the biggest tyrannical leaders ever, we were not even going to count Mao or Japan or them, came to be one of the bloodiest centuries ever thanks to these people. And it's human nature to somehow have these people that end in position or no, that is wrong. It is not human nature to be evil. I don't think so. I think the world in its I can't say that either because man, it's so personal. I don't know what to tell you. It really is. I understand your point of each person's utopia being different because how each person values things differently. Their weighted of what's valuable to them is different. Hmm.
I agree, dude. I agree. We all have different value systems, but at the core of our beings, love is the ultimate value, dude.
See
Throughout all of
Love.
humanity.
if we can get to a point where that is the ultimate value for people's lives, we would get utopia because
It,
you wouldn't do things selfishly anymore. That that's one of the biggest things that I think we do, and one of our biggest issues is that we end up being selfish, and it hurts everybody around us because life is bigger than just you. You don't. It's yes, everybody wants to be a main character. They do, but a main character is responsible for leading the cast as well. Everybody has a responsibility socially and ethically to look after people, to be nice, to be kind, to be loving. It's regardless of what they've done to you. Those should always be your principles.
You know what the beauty of what aristocracies taught? Morals and values and virtues, they all come down to what you believe in. And that's almost why um, it becomes very difficult to manage 8 billion people, and the worst part is that number is only going to increase.
Yeah.
In 2021, it's going to be 9 billion people. 2022, 10 billion people. 2025, 13 billion people. Who is the main character?
Everyone.
Yeah, I
Every,
agree.
ev-
And it's 13 billion people's minute effects on the entire planet that are going to show the direction that we're heading in. No matter how desperately you try to fight against it, no matter how desperately you try to influence other people, you try to connect with them through the internet, through what was Elon Neuralink. There are going to be billions of other connections influencing that as well.
I agree, but if
And
that's
what you have to come to accept is that perhaps your connection is in the minority. Perhaps your connection will not have an influence on the majority.
maybe, but
And
if we stop believing that, we end up in a point where nobody believes anything they do affects anything.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't agree with like the statements that Chris gonna make sometimes, because I believe that we literally in every single moment make a difference, dude, and a big difference at that as well.
I didn't say we don't. I didn't say we don't. I said your difference might not be strong enough.
But
I said your difference
I
might
mean,
not
like,
be
if
able
you
to
have that
contend with the
mindset,
tide.
of course it won't.
Yeah, your mindset and yada yada. You can believe as hard as you want. The beggar can believe as hard as he wants that he will change ultimately everyone's fate on the planet. I believe in that, and you know what? It has a percentage to work, definitely. But
but
when we break it down to maths, to physics, to reality,
Homie, why are you so attached to reality, dude?
that's what we live in, my friend.
Yeah, dude, you would like to say
That's
that.
that's what that's what
We
we
aren't
live in.
living in a reality, dude. We are reality. Like you've said it
Okay.
before, but you don't actually
You are
realize it.
you are you are reality. Johan is reality. I am reality. In
Yeah.
this three-person conversation, how much weight do I hold? At least 33.3333333333 to infinity percent. That's 1/3.
you
Okay,
technically should
homie.
hold exactly
So
that.
at what point, dude? So let's say each one of us is a drop, right? And we're falling into an infinite ocean, which is reality. At what point are you only the drop? And at what point are you the entire ocean?
You are the entire
Now,
ocean. At the
my
same
point
time,
exactly. So there's no
at the same
33.3%,
time,
dude.
Estian, at the same time, Estian, so is everybody fucking else.
But
Exactly, dude.
but
And it's your choice, bro. Like if you're gonna decide to be less, you will be
So
less,
you want
dude.
to, so you want to, so you want to lead this planet. Please tell me why wouldn't everybody else want to?
No, everybody else doesn't want to, homie. It's kind of clear, bro. People don't want to accept responsibility.
that's also quite true.
And you want to.
I am.
You want to accept responsibility. You want to lead us forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me what's good for us.
Homie, what's good for us is love, dude. And personal expression and
And
growth.
you're so sure of that.
I am, dude.
100% convinced.
100% convinced.
What if I told you that was wrong?
then I'd respect your opinion.
I'd want to
And what
hear
if your
why.
opinion what if your opinion was almost nothing?
Excuse me?
What if your opinion was almost nothing?
What does that mean, dude?
What I mean is, it doesn't matter how hard you strive, it doesn't matter how hard you fight, it doesn't matter how hard you believe in it, how much effort you put into it, it's still barely nothing.
Yeah, but that's a weak
I mean, yeah, like
mentality.
that's your mentality, bro. If you want to keep that, dude. Like that's not the mentality that I have for my life or for myself, dude.
The question is
Da.
the question is uh okay, Chris is busy. The question is, and this is where I stand with it at least. I don't think it's the responsibility of everybody to fix the world. The responsibility of everybody is to give as much as they can to the people they can directly affect, and that will be a chain reaction down the line. I saw this picture of a girl who was standing at a subway, and she had it was a picture of her holding $50, and the caption read that she walked down a certain street in New York, and every day she'd give out $20 to 20 different of the beggars. And one of the beggars walks up to her, gives her a $50 note, and it's like, "Thank you so much. Your money helped me get on my feet. I now have a job." That is doing more good than most people have done in their entire life to one person's life. And that is
There is nothing wrong with helping those directly around you.
that I agree, and
The
that
thing
is
is, you have to take into account just how much is around you.
so
And what Estian often says is that I can change the world. And yes,
you can.
100%, you can. You can change the world. You can change it to everything you believe is right, and everything you believe is righteous, and everything you believe will be better for everyone else. But what if I told you that 90% of that world does not see it that way, and they will not be happy with the choices you've made for them?
Homie, fortunately, dude, in this world we have free choice.
See, I don't. That's authoritarian again. That's tyrannical thinking.
Yes,
If you think that you can force people, which Estian doesn't. The fact that he brings up free speech, free will, is a huge part of who we are. That's why they say you don't force change on the world. You are you
neither did Jesus.
no,
He
but you
said
be
believe
the
he said
change.
believe whatever you want to believe.
Yes, fair enough. And then you are
What did the world do?
some people followed him, some people didn't. Some people
Homie,
executed him.
he had more influence than any other being on this
Yeah.
planet, dude, because his message was love. And he understood that the message is love, dude. And in his like literal pursuit of love, he sacrificed himself to die for people's love. And that is something that he did, and that is something you can't really take away, bro. It doesn't mean he was actually the reincarnate son of God. It means that he was just like every one of us is a son or a daughter of God, because we are literally created in his image. And that image is godhood. That image is for you to create things in this world that are good, because that's what it means to be good, bro. If
Um,
you want to create bad stuff in this world,
I have never, ever, in my entire existence, tried to discourage people from doing good. I've never, in my entire existence, tried to tell people that it is pointless and it is hopeless. What I have said, though, is that you have to come to accept when it doesn't fucking work.
homie, yeah, it's true. but we're still working towards it, accepting that it's not like okay. So you're suggesting that like either quit or like risk failure, right? So what do you want to choose? Do you want to risk failure and maybe fail, or and then succeed at the end, or do you want to guarantee it, bro? Because what's the point in entertaining the ideas of failure, like at all, technically? Because of course there's obvious possibility for failure in every single thing that we do. Like coming back to your car analogy, I could think I like let's say I learn or I train how to become a race car driver. And then I drive out of my driveway and a guy coming at 180 down the road hits me from the side and instantly kills me. Like that could happen as well. But what's the point in me never getting in a car again and never wanting to drive anywhere again because that might happen to me? That's stupidity, dude. That is
See,
weakness. That is
that
fear.
No, it's not. It's not stupidity. It comes down to whether you're willing to sacrifice driving ever again for the people that you love, because they don't want to see you dead.
yes, but
Dude, so what? So I should literally stop living my life because something might kill me? No.
no,
No.
it's the biggest curse that God ever placed on humanity was him saying and giving or us eating from the fruit of knowledge and gaining the ability to see into the future. That is the biggest curse that God gave us because having foresight means that we get to the point where we fear the
Did God give
unknown.
us that?
Yes, that is the well.
Did
God
God?
cursed us with it after Eve
Did
ate
He?
from the tree and Adam ate with her. That was the curse. That was the biggest thing that he did.
Wasn't that their choice?
No, well, yeah, because it. I don't
Where?
because we were tempted by Satan, according to the Bible, into eating this fruit. I don't think it was that. I think it was just us naturally developing and evolving to being conscious beings. But the point of that story ends up with us developing consciousness and developing the ability of foresight. Because no animal has. An animal doesn't sit and when you walk around a corner, go, oh, I think there's a bear around the corner. Oh, let me go check. Walks around the corner and sees a bear and goes, fuck, and runs away where humans walk around the corner going, maybe there's a bear, maybe there's a deer, maybe there's a man wanting to stab me. That is the reason that we become paranoid and why we worry about things. And that is a responsibility we have not to do that. That is the ultimate ability of us is to learn to accept that you don't have control over the situation and to deal with it and
And
live
you
with it
don't.
as best. Yes, you don't, but that doesn't change the fact that you should still try and be the main person in the story in your story.
But there's a difference between trying stupidly and trying reasonably.
Fair enough. Yes, that is very true. And there are a lot of people that are trying unreasonably.
There's a difference between the person that jumps off a cliff and expects to survive the fall and the person that takes a parachute with them.
I agree, but
There's a difference between the person that says, I'm gonna jump off this cliff and I'm gonna fucking survive it. I'm going to hit the ground and I'm going to fucking survive it. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna jump off this cliff and I believe that I'll
Okay,
make the
homie, I
difference.
understand the point you're trying to make, but who says that?
Every
I've
day
never
we
heard
say that.
anybody's. When do we say that?
Every day,
Please explain to me.
every.
Give me one single example of us ever saying something that stupid and comparable. Because the difference is literally preparation.
A
Taking a
friend of mine
parachute.
died recently. He's been missing for 2 days, and they found his body in a morgue. It was a hit and run, apparently. When I believe that he jumped in front of a car to end his own life. That person lived his life entirely believing that other people would help him all the way through to the end. Firmly believed it, firmly kept that positivity, firmly strived towards um, 100% trusting and knowing that other people would help him. And guess what? They didn't. And what
Chris,
did he do? He threw himself in front of a fucking car and died.
And that's the choice he made, dude.
so
And that's the choice he made. So what? Like, I don't understand the point you're trying to make, man.
What I'm trying to say is that oftentimes we follow our dreams firmly believing that we will make it. We will do it. We will 100% achieve it.
but Chris, I want you to go
Yeah,
read a book.
like
No, I want,
the-
Chris, I want you to go read a book. It is called Gulag Archipelago. It is written by a Russian dude who was in the middle of a Siberian gulag. He was a high-ranking officer, and he ended up going to the gulag after getting caught conspiring against Stalin. And while sitting and being tortured in the gulag, he gained resentment for the situation he had, and it was horrible, and he hated it. And then at one point, he made a decision. And he says, "You know what? What if I was the reason that I am currently in this situation?" He sat back and he wrote a book about his life, highlighting every single choice he ever made and explaining what he could have done better. That book is one of the biggest reasons that communism is destroyed in Russia at the moment, and it is because a guy was willing to accept that everything that ends up in your life happening to you is almost 99% something that you did to get to this point.
Right.
There's
responsibility.
there is
Right.
even
You tell that to the child that dies starving in Ethiopia. You tell that to the
99%.
mother that no, I don't care 99%. I don't want to hear 99%.
I mean, like, if you want to look at the face of death, don't be surprised when you see the face of death, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to look at the face of life, don't be surprised when you see the face of life. Like, I'm gonna keep beating this message into you until you actually understand it. Like, look at the positives. Yes, there are a lot of negatives in the world, but unless you have a plan, and I told you this last time as
I
well,
have
unless you
stared
have
at
a plan, stop bitching
the
about it.
face. Shut the fuck up and listen to me. I've stared at the face of death. I've seen it. And guess
I'm
what?
gonna
It
go get a
doesn't
book
care
in
for your
2 seconds.
petty it doesn't care for your petty dreams. It doesn't care for your petty beliefs. It doesn't care how much you believe in it. It doesn't care how much you strive and how much energy you pour into it. It'll kill you and it will destroy you.
Yeah, it definitely will, dude. But what's the point in me not having dreams if, like, I want to literally activate that response in myself? Why don't I just kill myself then? Why don't I just kill
there
myself
is a
right now then?
point where you become stupid and there is a point where you become reasonable.
Okay, now where am I being unreasonable?
The point where you keep believing that everything is going to be all right and that you're going to make things work
And I am,
even though
and I will
everything
show you.
even though everything is falling around apart you
Yeah,
about
dude.
around you.
And like, if I keep letting it fall apart around me, it's never going to get built back up, dude. Like, you can live in negativity, dude, but you have no idea how happy I am, dude. And I'm as happy
Yeah,
as I am because I have positivity, because I have hope for our future. And the reason I have hope for my future is because I am going to create my
then
future.
keep
If you
then
want to be
keep
part of that future, dude, you're welcome to be. But
See,
then
I'm not
keep
going to
being
entertain
being
negative
positive.
ideas.
Then keep being positive. Keep being positive. Keep being optimistic. Keep thinking that everything is going to work out. Keep thinking that all of the effort you're putting in and all of the energy you're putting in is going to turn out to a better outcome. Keep thinking that it's only going to bring happiness and nurture and life to everyone around you. And I'll be there. I'll
can
be there when it does work out, if it does work out. And I will congratulate you, and I will high five you, and I will say I was wrong.
Now,
And I will
homie,
say that
don't you think,
all
bro?
I
Like,
did, all I said, everything was wrong. and that I should have believed in you more.
Can I
So,
read something
homie,
to
do you
Chris?
really think, before you do, dude, do you really think living your entire life in doubt of me and in of the future, dude, and then saying, oh, okay, I was wrong? Do you want to live like that? Seriously?
No, Chris, can I read you something? I want just listen to this. So this comes directly from the 12 Rules of Life, page 149. Just so everybody that wants to know where I got this, it says, he writes, the towering Leo Tolstoy himself began to question the value of human existence. He reasoned in this way: my position was terrible. I knew that I could find nothing in the way of rational knowledge except the denial of life, and in faith I could find nothing except the denial of reason. And this was even more impossible than a denial of life. According to rational knowledge, it follows that life is evil and people know it. They do not have to live, yet they have lived and they do live, just as I myself have lived, even though I had known for a long time that life is meaningless and evil. Try as he might, Tolstoy could identify only four means of escaping from such thoughts. One was retreating into childlike ignorance of the problem. Another was pursuing mindless pleasure. The third was continuing to drag out a life that is evil and meaningless, knowing beforehand that nothing can come of it. He identified that particular form of escape with weakness. The people in this category know that death is better than life, but they do not have the strength to act rationally and quickly put an end to the delusion of killing themselves. Only the fourth and final mode of escape involves strength and energy. It consists of destroying life once one has realized that life is evil and meaningless. But then he continues on, and like this Tolsky guy got so bad that he would hide his own guns from him in fear that he might just take his life because of that way he was living. He would live in constant hatred of human existence because all he could see was absolute pain and suffering, and it destroyed him. It
Let me destroy
absolutely
you as well if it's wrong.
destroyed him. And I wanna read the end of this. I wanna just find it quickly. Uh, I'm trying to find it. If you guys have something you want to say, go for it.
I just might want to go eat dinner, actually.
Well, what we could do is we could just pause it there, and I'll just
No.
cut out the stuff that I'm just gonna end it in saying life is hard. Life isn't
You
easy.
think what I want to say is you think it will destroy me, Estian, but I'm facing it for what it is. I'm not shying away from the horrors of it. I'm facing them head on.
You think I'm not shying away, dude? I'm just not entertaining it, bro. I'm not talking about the negatives.
Can
No, you're ignoring it.
can I read the final thing I want to read before we end? Just listen to this, Chris. Don't blame capitalism, the radical left, or the inquiry of your enemies. Don't recognize the state until you have ordered your own existence. Have some humility. If you cannot bring peace to your household, how dare you try and rule a city? Let your own soul guide you. Watch what happens over the days and weeks. When you're at your work, you will begin to say what you really think. You'll start to tell your wife or your husband or your children or your parents what you really want and need. When you know that you have left something undone, you will act to correct the omission. Your head will stay clear, will start to clear up, and you will stop filling it with lies. Your experience will improve as you stop disordering it with inauthentic action. You will then begin to discover a new, more subtle things that you are doing wrong. Stop doing those too. After some months and years of diligent effort, your life will become simpler and less complicated. Judgment will improve. You will untangle your past. You will become stronger and less bitter. You will move more confidently into the future. You will stop making your life unnecessarily difficult. You will then be left with the inevitable bare tragedy of life, but they will no longer be compounded with bitterness and deceit. Perhaps you will
Ah,
discover that your now less corrupted soul, much stronger than it might otherwise have been, is now
ah,
able to bear those remaining necessary, minimal,
there
inescapable
we
tragedies. Perhaps,
we go.
and then he said,
There we
oh,
go. The necessary, inescapable tragedies.
"Yeah, it is, but they're dealable, and there's many ways to deal with them."
100%. What do you think I'm not?
No, I know you are. Otherwise, you
You
wouldn't be
think
here.
I'm not?
You'd
I'm
kill yourself.
handling this like a fucking champ.
You are. I'm going to agree with you.
I am dealing with everything I've been presented with like a fucking champion. I don't care what people say to me. I don't care how people call me negative. I'm not. I accept it for what it is, and I'm dealing with it in the
Homie,
best damn way that is available.
the point I'm trying to make, dude, is that you were talking about things like this before you went through the hardships that you've been through, dude. And you know that to be true as well. So the problem isn't the hardships you've been through, dude. The problem is what you entertain in your mind. You worry.
It's the reason Boogie was
And you
so
constantly worry.
exactly. So our reason Boogie was so uplifting because there wasn't a worry, and you got to experience an awesome time where you didn't need to think about them.
Then
Don't all.
take your own advice then. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. Don't worry one single bit, one single second of your life. Don't worry. Let's see where it takes you.
Let's see where it takes me, dude. Because at the end of the day, I'll be dead and decaying, bro, and my soul will go on. And then nothing of this, no matter how much material wealth I gain, no much how many lives I touch, it will still be at the end of the day for quote unquote nothing. But it is actually for everything. Like, I'm
Exactly.
not going to
Then
stop making a
take
difference,
your
bro.
own advice then. If it's for everything, if it's for the good of reality itself. You're telling me you're not worried at all? At all.
Of course not, dude.
No, you're not worried
Because the
at not
understandability,
one
dude.
bit. Not
Not
one
one
bit.
bit.
So a parent that lets his child go to school, not worried one bit.
Why would you be
What
worried,
what does
homie?
that exactly mean? Does he really care about his kid?
Dude, like you brought this up last time as well, and it's still a stupid argument, dude. Like being hopeful for your kid's happy first day, that's not a worry. If you want to be like, oh, what if he falls over, oh, and stubs his toe, oh, what if he has a bad time chatting with friends? What is the point?
Yeah.
If I'm happy and I'm like, oh, I hope my kid like gets to chat with new friends. I look forward to seeing him at the end of the day and asking him how his first day was. Like, do you see the difference in mentality?
Yeah.
You
So
tell me when you have kids, mate.
I will. I will. Whoa.
Calm down, dude.
Whoa.
Like this has been a long time coming, and it happens almost every time me and Christiana has chats on the phone as well. He just doesn't want to stop being, and
No,
I'm gonna
he's
use
so
the word that he hates,
pessimistic.
negative. Yeah, dude. But like I'm really hungry and I want to go to bed early-ish.
Okay.
So I'm gonna love you and leave you, man.
Goodbye, my friend. Much love.
Good, goodbye, man. I really appreciated the chat. It was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was. We'll talk again. Cheers.
We will. Cheers, dude.